a favor and close the door, please? Hi there. How are you? I didn't get a chance to say hello to you. Well, good evening, everybody. I was still waiting for some people who were stuck in traffic, but I decided that I can start this, and then as soon as they get here, they can just follow us wherever we're at. Jose and I spent a few days in Washington, D.C. talking to our brokers and also the law firm that represents the brokerage firm. The good news is that they're all very excited about the project. In fact, they were so excited that the law firm had 2 people. They brought the whole team with them, which is very exciting. And I've received some really excellent texts from all of them. They're all excited about the project, and they reckon that we should have our approvals within 14 working days. As soon as we receive some of the changes which we have to make in order to comply and make it simpler, which Jose and I have been working on for the last few days, and will continue to do so till probably Tuesday, Wednesday next week. Let me start again by reminding people about the difference between technology and application of technology. I've always used this example because it's easy to explain it this way. Around 4,000 years ago, some gentleman in the Middle East discovered the wheel, or invented the wheel. Sounds very simple, but when you think about it, for thousands of years, tens of thousands of years, mankind has lived without one. So when this gentleman invented the wheel, you could almost say this was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, believe it or not, you know. Now the guy who invented the wheel in the axle probably made no money. Okay, he invented the technology, but probably didn't make much out of it. However, the guy who invented or put together the first reliable cart probably made a lot of money. And as usual, whenever there's any application or any invention that can be used for peaceful purposes, it will also be used for wars. So the next thing that happened, of course, you had war chariots. And that for the first time, you had a mobile moving platform from which you could launch missiles. In those days, of course, it was bows and arrows and spears. However, you could move your forces on the field of battle or your mobile platforms to wherever you needed support or to stop an enemy. So that was a major transformation in military technology, which we still use to this day. Now, many people consider the wheel as the greatest invention of all time. And when you think about it today, we use it in our vehicles, we use it in trains, we use it in planes. It was on the Moon rover, it's on the Mars rover. There's nothing you can call technology today that we use that does not use that particular invention. So when scientists say that probably this was the greatest invention of all time, they're probably correct. But the difference is, it's not the invention that really makes the money or changes mankind, it's the application of the invention. I think it's something you need to bear in mind whenever you look at technology. It's not just the technology, it's the application of the technology. Speed forward to modern times, somebody invented the chip, computer chip. Now, you couldn't do much with a computer chip because what do you do with a computer chip? Eat it? I don't know if you can do that, but anyway. It was people who were able to use that computer chip with other things, apply the technology that made the money. Now, if you all remember, in the early days, when they first used the microchip, the computer chip, it was nothing more but a glorified typewriter. Do you remember that time? Anybody remembers? It was nothing more than a glorified typewriter, which was interesting. It was, you know, well, nice new innovation. But it's the people who developed software that really made the money. People like Bill Gates, people like Steve Jobs. They had the technology, but now they were applying it. Now, here's another thing I want you to remember when you're talking about science. If Bill Gates or Steve Jobs had walked in here 40 years ago and said to you, you know what? I think I'm going to create software. And I think with that software, we'll be able to develop a personal computer. And that personal computer will be able to give you more information than all the libraries in the world combined. You would have thought he was crazy. Am I correct? You would have thought he was crazy. And then if you asked him, well, how will it work? And he said to you, well, we'll have to hook it to a mouse. You'd probably be heading for the door. Hook it to a mouse to work? This guy's absolutely nuts. But if you'd listened to that guy at that time, you'd probably become a very wealthy man today. Okay? So that concept is not the technology, but the application of the technology that matters is very important to bear in mind when you're looking at technology. Now, all my life I've missed every boat. I missed Microsoft, I missed Apple, I missed Facebook, I missed, you name it, I missed it. I was never in an opportunity or in a situation whereby I could invest money at that early stage. Now here, what we're going to show you today, you have that opportunity. Okay, now, will it be successful? We think so. In fact, we invested quite a lot of money into it. But it could also fail. So I want you to bear that in mind. Keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, keep your nose to the ground, and make an assessment for yourself. That's all I ask you to do. Now, for those who've been here before, there were 3 components to our project. There was a shopping component. Does everybody remember that, Jeff? Okay, Ton, Jose, Aden, you all remember that? Joseph? Okay. So that's one component, was shopping. The second component to our project was what? That's the technology. We talk about the application now. But thank you for your help, superhero. Superwoman. Okay, the second part of the technology was the app, the shopping app. That was a very important part of the technology. It's the shopping app that goes with the shopping package with the directory, correct? Everybody follow that, right? Okay. There was a third aspect, which was mining. Coin mining. Now, what happened in Washington is that they decided that this had to be separated from the rest of the company. And this will be launched separately in the near future as a separate, wholly owned subsidiary. Does that make sense to everybody? Right? It'll still be part of the company, but it'll be a separate company that's owned by the main company. These other 2 things, that's the shopping and the shopping app, will be part of the main package. All right? Does everybody understand that? Okay. Having said that, let's start with the mining. Because this now will not be part of our main presentation. Now, we've had to, what's the word should I use? Mess around a little bit with the presentation so that it makes sense in the light of this new situation, okay? And we haven't had time to really separate everything as it should be separated. So I ask you, all of you, to bear with us as far as this is concerned, okay? Are we ready to roll the first part, Jose? So you see here, this is wholly
a
owned
new
subsidiary.
industry.
That's okay.
Forces participates in this new internet technology, known as coin mining, to be able to offer members a long-term investment opportunity.
This is what I was talking about. This is now separate from the rest of the company. This is a subsidiary, okay? Okay, Jose, go ahead.
Since January of this year, we have been researching the feasibility of setting up our own digital data electronic verification system, otherwise known as coin mining. We had to determine what equipment we had to purchase. We had to determine and figure out what equipment was most compatible with what equipment for optimum results. We had to integrate and synchronize that equipment for greatest profitability. And of course, the whole process is slow and time consuming, and adjustments had to be made constantly to maximize compatibility and profitability. However, mining generates profits 24/7 as the machine operates on their own, or machines operate on their own. And throughout this period, apart from investing fresh research and development funds into the project, the continuous profits being generated from mining were directed into purchasing new equipment that was coming into the market. Currently, we have achieved successful enough results to be confident of a profitable operation, which allows us to generate good returns for our investors. New equipment is constantly coming onto the market. Technology is advancing rapidly, and as it advances, we intend to keep pace with it and constantly upgrade and create new and more profitable systems. Our R&D department is here to stay and to make sure we stay ahead of the pack.
So can you stop here for just a second? Now, I don't know how many of you invested into this. It's still before C's, but invested in it. Jeff, did you invest into this?
I gave you the money for it. I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay. I don't think there's anybody here who has. Okay, all right, fine. Let's keep going. I think there was only one or two people who did, actually.
Commit 500 4Cs coins or more into your cyber wallet for a minimum of 1 year and earn 5% ROI, return on investment per quarter, or 20% per year.
Okay, that's very simple, really, very clear. This operation is so profitable that we can afford to do that. Because if somebody commits 500 4Cs for a period of 1 year, we would pay 20% return per year, payable quarterly at 5%. You cannot roll over that money. In other words, when you get your 5% at every quarter, you cannot add it to the principal sum. You can only to invest it, you have to start a new contract of 500. Does that make any sense? Okay. So, but that's your money and you get paid every quarter, okay? In 4Cs, which you can convert, of course, into dollars. So that's available. I would suggest that people should invest into this because it's a very profitable operation. Now, we as a company make much more than that. But we don't want to make any commitments beyond that for the simple reason the market could change at any time. And if it does change, then we don't want to be caught in a liable situation which we cannot meet our commitments. We have the option, of course, at opting out at any given quarter. So if the market should change, we would simply end the program, pay people their 5% for that quarter, and continue, okay? And give them, of course, their principal back or put it back into the main company. Is that clear for everybody? All right. So this is an interesting program. But this will now be not operational at the moment. It'll be another few weeks before this is packaged into a separate corporation, still under the company, okay? All right, Jose, let's go ahead.
Another first. 4Cs has a new concept in affiliates rewards programs. A generous 15% is paid for the introduction of new members. A member introduced by you deposits funds into the Cyber Wallet, you earn 10% commission. A member introduced by you introduces another new member and they deposit funds into the Cyber Wallet, you earn a 5% bonus. This policy encourages cooperation between members of the organization for the benefit of the organization. This two-tier affiliate rewards program is a 4Cs innovation.
Okay, that was clear, I think. Everybody understood that, right? Okay. Now, this is not multi-level program, okay? This is important to understand. On multi-level, you have all these different levels. This is simply a two-tier affiliate program. We could have given that 15% to one person or one member. We decided to split into two, give it to the member, and then give 5% to the member, the new member introduced by that member, okay? So it's a two-tier affiliate program, not a multi-level program. I think it's important you should realize the distinction and the difference between the two. Is anybody have any questions on that? Okay, let's go ahead, Jose.
A pioneer in a new generation of blockchain technology application. With built-in dynamics for stability and growth. The first token company, whose profits are invested as follows: 25% gold reserves, 25% tangible hard assets, 25% digital assets not by buying but by mining, and 25% profitable digital data verification operation.
Okay, stop here, Jose. All right, let me explain something to you which is very important. I think you should all bear in mind. Don't forget, the company is making money continuously. Every time there's a transaction, the company makes money. So at the end of every given month, we have profits from the company which we have to allocate and invest. So this is the investment program that we have. The profits as they come in, 25% will go into gold reserves. Why? Because we think there'll be a bubble. A bubble is developing, so the market will crash at some point. This will hold us in good stead, okay? Now, we're also going to be doing investing 25% of the profits into digital assets, not by buying, but by mining. What do I mean by that? Has anybody been in mining, the mining industry here? Okay, let me explain something to you. Nevada, just the state of Nevada, is the third largest gold producer in the world. I'm not talking about the United States, I'm talking about the state of Nevada. It's the third largest gold producer in the world, behind South Africa and Russia. However, we produce gold at a much cheaper price in this state than either Russia or South Africa. It costs them around $400 an ounce to produce gold in South Africa and in Russia. It costs us here around $200 an ounce, okay? So, if you're in mining, you'll be producing gold at $200 an ounce. However, the world market price is around $1,300 an ounce. I think it's $1,360 or $1,350 today. I'm not sure. It's $1,300 an ounce. Now, if you're buying Bitcoins or Ethereums or whatever, on the market right now for Bitcoin, I think it's around $4,000, okay, if you're buying it. However, if you are mining it, you get a much lower price. Does that make any sense? Okay. So we'll accumulate Ethereums, Bitcoins, etc., which I think will increase in value tremendously if there's a downturn in the economy. But we'll be mining it, not buying it. So we're not going to go into the open market and buy our Bitcoins, our Ethereums, etc. We'll be mining them, okay? So we get them at a much cheaper price, okay? I think it's very important to understand that. Then we're going to take a holding in hard assets, easy to liquidate hard assets, because we want to remain cash or liquid, heavy at all times. Take investments, but easy to convert back into cash, because we don't know what the economy is going to do. So we're very flexible. And then this is the money we're going to invest into, you see there, money into the mining process itself, okay? and that is its own value. I just wanted to show you that we've been thinking about every aspect of this company, when we put together our package and how we handle our funds. I want you to be aware of that, okay? All right, Jose, let's go ahead. Now here we're going to change. I think this is change point, right, Jose? Because the old PowerPoint presentation is no longer valid, so we've had to break it up to make sure it makes sense and it's valid, okay? The next time, in 2 weeks, that's when we're going to have our next meeting, that this would have been done, so we wouldn't have to do this anymore.
Where we are going. Blockchain technology. First generation, the technology. Next generation, an application of the technology. New incomes and wealth.
Okay, in other words, as I mentioned to you before in the beginning of the presentation, before the beginning of the presentation, there's technology and there's application of this technology. Where now it's the application of the technology. Okay, that's you should always bear that in mind. Okay, we're going into. Okay, Jose, please go ahead.
Once upon a time, business as usual was often good enough. No more. Where we are going, good enough is dead. In a world where everything is connected, where everything is equally excellent, where performance is reaching perfection, there's only one space left to innovate in: you. Right now, you are a central point in the raging tornado of change fueled by digitization, mobilization, augmentation, disintermediation, automation. Well, the list goes on. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Think about self-driving cars or computers that can learn and think. The way we work will never be the same. The skills we need will be dramatically different. Winning or losing are now happening faster than ever before. So what's your response? How will you discover new opportunities in one of the most transformational times in human history? Are you driving change, or are you being driven by it? Disruption has become the new normal. With change, it's always gradually, then suddenly, well, things really have stopped happening gradually. This change is exponential. Everything that used to be dumb and disconnected is now wired and intelligent. Cars, cities, ports, farms, even our bodies will be wired with sensors and will talk to each other. These game changers are also combinatorial. They amplify each other, creating a perfect storm of change. Quantum computing fuels big data. The Internet of Things fuels artificial intelligence and deep learning, which fuels robotics. However, you've got to start engaging more with what might be, not just with what is. Immerse yourself in the immediate future, 5 to 7 years out from today. We need to go beyond technology and data to reach human insights and wisdom. Technology represents the how of change, but humans represent the why. The future is about holistic business model. The opportunity is to be liquid, to learn just in time, not just in case, not single improvements, but complete transformations, not individual systems, but new ecosystems. Humanity is where true and lasting value is created. We will engage, relate, and buy things because of the experiences they provide, because of their transformative power. The future doesn't just happen, the future gets happened. The new way to work is to embrace technology, but not to become it. The future is in technology, yet the bigger future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead from here.
The near future is the most transformational time in human history. The age of digital ecosystems.
Okay, Jose, can you stop there for just a second? All right. Now, here's one thing you're going to be hearing more and more of. There was a time when you didn't hear the word software, then a time came when you heard software. There was a time you never heard of the word internet, then a time came when you heard the word internet. There was a time when you didn't hear the word websites, then a time came you heard the word websites. The reason why I'm saying this to you is digital ecosystems is the new thing, okay? In technology, in the future, the next 5, 7, 10 years, we'll be talking about digital ecosystems, okay? And they'll be much more comprehensive than the systems that you have today, which are simple systems. What do I mean by simple systems? If you look at Apple, they have a system, and things are compatible within the system. There are things that computers, cell phones, etc. And they're very limited in the application. If you look at Android, the same thing applies there. In the future, these ecosystems will be much more diversified, much more comprehensive. So that's one word you'll hear increasingly from now on is ecosystems, okay? Please go ahead.
The future doesn't just happen. The future gets happened.
Okay. That's a very important principle to understand, okay? The age of computers didn't happen. They were planned. People invested money into it, thought into it, applied the new technologies. You ended up with a PC, your personal computer, your laptop, your cell phones, etc. Didn't just happen. They got happened. In other words, somebody planned for them. And I know Superwoman complains this is bad English. And you're probably correct. But it works, that's what's important, okay? So the future gets happen, okay? That's an important principle to understand. So what we're doing today is we're creating the future in a sense. Because if what we are doing today is successful, it is going to change a lot of things. Things will not remain the same. Things will change in a dramatic fashion probably, okay? Let's go ahead and see.
Are you driving change and profiting from it? Or are you being driven by change and paying for it?
Okay, so what does that mean? If I was lucky enough to have met Bill Gates, or Steve Jobs, or Zuckerberg, or anybody like that, I would have been there. I would have been involved in the driving of change and profiting from it. Instead, I, and probably all of you in here, belong here. We're being driven by change and we're paying for it, okay? That's the simple truth of how life works. If you're somewhere at the right time, at the right place, and the right opportunities are being presented, and you're smart enough to latch into those opportunities, you belong to this category here, okay? It's like a dream world. But anyway, very few people ever get that opportunity. All right, Jose, let's go.
The future is about holistic business models. Not single improvements, but complete transformations. Not individual systems, but new ecosystems.
Okay. I've already discussed that with you, this particular point, correct? So I won't waste my time in discussing with you again. Can you go ahead, please, Jose?
Global economy. Global thinking. Global solutions. Blockchain technology ecosystems.
Okay. It's very important whenever you're planning anything today to realize certain facts. One of the most important facts that most people haven't realized, and our politicians continue to lie to us about, is that the world economic forces have become so powerful that no nation can legislate for them or against them. All they can do is create a mess, okay? I'll give you a simple example in the car industry. Okay, it's something I was discussing with Willie a little while ago. if you look at the car industry, the cost of manufacturing cars now is about the same all over the world. Okay, why is it the same? Because no human beings are involved, so the cost of labor is a non-factor. You produce something in one place and not another because of labor. Costs were cheaper, or energy costs were cheaper. Now it's universal across the world. Energy costs are the same, labor costs are the same. But if you're not using labor, then the cost of manufacture remains the same. So it doesn't matter where you build an automotive plant, okay? It won't employ people. It's fully automated and is in robotics, okay? And they stand one idle. In other words, you have a machine here that does a certain thing. There's another machine sitting idle next to it. The moment something goes wrong with this arm, the other arm takes over. The assembly line doesn't stop. A maintenance crew comes and changes whatever part they need to change the first time that's not working properly, and that becomes idle, okay, and on standby. If the other arm fails, the same thing again. Everything is computerized, they know exactly what to change where. So all you have is in these new modern automotive plants, literally just maintenance crews. That's the only thing they employ. And a control room with guys on computers monitoring the systems. So they no longer employ thousands of people, okay? So what's the difference? The difference in cost is proximity to the market, okay? That is why Germany is building cars, have been building cars for the last 10 years in the United States. That is why Japan is building cars here. Because if they don't build it here, the cost of transportation is the major factor. So they have to build the cars here in order to be competitive. And that's the reason why our auto manufacturers build plants overseas, okay, for the same reason, proximity to the market. Now let's say, for example, Ford built a plant in Mexico because that size of car, that type of model, sells better in Mexico than the United States. And it competes with other Japanese cars, Italian cars, Korean cars, and they're competitive so long as they manufacture in Mexico. All right? Now, what if they suddenly decide to manufacture that in the United States? What would happen is this. If they were selling 100,000 cars in Mexico, if they move that plant to the United States, the cost of transportation would make them uneconomical. Okay? So instead of selling 100,000 cars, they'll be selling 5,000 cars. That would make the plant in the United States uneconomical to run. They would have to shut it down. That's why our automotive industry is building around the world. That's why countries from around the world are building here. So what I'm trying to tell you is this. The economic forces in the global economy are so powerful that nobody can fight against them. It's impossible, okay? So in everything we look at global economy today. We cannot look at an individual economy. All right? If I explained that well enough? Okay. Now the same thing is true with steel manufacturing. If you go to a modern steel plant, there's nobody working there. It's all fully automated. Now what we have failed to do in this country is for the last 20 years, we've failed to invest in new equipment and training of our population in order to operate in this global economy. And today we blame everybody else in the world but ourselves for that failure, okay? And it's important you all understand that, and don't let these politicians fool you anymore, okay? Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead.
Cyber Consumer Club, or 4Cs, is based on the new Distributed Ledger Technology, or DLT, and also known as blockchain technology. A milestone. Federal Reserve recognized cryptocurrencies. On the 25th of June 2018, a milestone was reached. Federal Reserve recognizes 4 cryptocurrencies: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Ethereum. 4Cs uses the recognized ERC20 Ethereum ecosystem. 4Cs is using this new technology to provide real-world solutions by resolving real-world problems, improving real-world conditions, and generating new incomes and wealth. 4Cs applies this new high-tech blockchain internet technology to create a real asset shopping reward solution. Around 200 years ago, Victor Hugo said, "No army can stop an idea whose time has come." And around 10 years ago, such an idea or invention was born. Satoshi Nakamoto invented distributed ledger technology, otherwise known as blockchain technology. This technology promises to revolutionize the whole world of business and finance. A silent revolution is in progress in the world of internet technology. It is much faster than the current technology, much cheaper to operate, and almost impossible to hack into, thus providing badly needed security in the world of cyberspace. 4Cs is using this new technology to provide real-world solutions by resolving real-world problems, improving real-world conditions, and generating new incomes and wealth. 4Cs applies this new technology to resolve a real-world dilemma and generate real assets, and probably the very first to use its profits to invest in gold stocks as reserves. 4Cs is targeting the biggest market of all, the consumer market. Around the globe, hundreds of billions of dollars change hands every day as consumers spend money. Expenditure on apparel, food, groceries, travel, hotels, and more. 4Cs is planning to cut a niche in that marketplace and get a share in the world's largest and most lucrative forum. The total world annual consumer marketplace is at USD $55 trillion. In 4Cs is designed to exploit this growing global opportunity. When you go shopping, you get what you buy and nothing else. Change that by becoming a member of the Cyber Consumer Club Corporation, 4Cs, and next time when you go shopping, you get rewarded with valuable 4Cs coins, which you can actually save or spend. 4Cs has a new concept in a purchasing rewards program. Corporate members are welcome and are listed in 4Cs Preferred Establishments Directory, where they commit to paying 4Cs a referral marketing fee of between 10% to 20% to 4Cs for recommending members to shop at their establishments. Against this, 4Cs pays in rewards in 4Cs coins to buyer, seller, and affiliate members as follows. For internet accounts, after deducting 55% from the 4Cs referral fee for the 4Cs investment fund, the rest of the fee is distributed as follows: 90% to the buying member, 10% to the member who introduced the buying member.
Okay, does everybody understand that? Okay, so, well, first of all, the internet accounts are reserved for the company. Why? If somebody were to sign up eBay or Walmart or Amazon or Neiman Marcus, the profits they're going to make are so huge it would be unfair to give them all to just one person. Okay? In fact, as I often said, then why don't Jose and I just sign those up ourselves and make that money? So we decided that all internet accounts will belong to the company. So the company will sell those. Why? Because every coin holder is also a shareholder. And therefore, it's only fair that that money that comes from the internet accounts should go to every shareholder of the company, not to just one person. Okay? And that's why it's structured that way. So that's why you don't see here any fee for the member who introduces the seller. It doesn't exist here. You only see member who introduced the buying member. Can you see that, Jeff? Can you see from there? Member who introduced the buying member only. However, every member that you introduce, it means every time they spend money in the future and forever you get paid. Okay? And we'll go into that in more detail later. Okay? So it behooves every member to introduce as many people as is possible, because it's residual income that you can build on constantly and continuously. And we'll just discuss that in more detail a little bit later. Okay? Can we go ahead, Jose?
For local accounts, after deducting 55% from the 4Cs referral fee for the 4Cs investment fund, the rest of the fee is distributed as follows: 80% to the buying member, 10% to the member who introduced the buying member, 10% to the member who introduced the selling establishment.
Okay, now here it starts to get very interesting. The member who introduced the seller, okay, we've discussed about the member who introduced the buyer, which is another member. The member who introduced the seller. Now, that is the source of a lot of money. For example, let me give you a simple example. Let's say in Las Vegas we only had 500 members, which is not much, okay? Okay, let me backtrack a little bit. There are about 200 million crypto enthusiasts in the world. There's about 20 million crypto enthusiasts in the United States, okay? We know how to get in touch with all of them, and I think they will jump all over our project. So 500 members is nothing. We know that they all refer to every day, several times a day, to CoinMarketCap. It costs $8,000 a week to advertise on CoinMarketCap. We'll have that money. Okay? So we should be able to get millions of people signed up very quickly around the world. Okay? But like everything, nothing is guaranteed. But let's say we only had 500 members in Las Vegas. And we signed up 10 bars, okay? Just 10 bars. That means we can introduce 50 members to each bar, theoretically speaking. Would you all agree with me on that? Okay, 50 members to each bar. Do you know how much that means to a bar? Go outside there and right now and take a look. How many people do you think they have in the bar? 10? If you go to any bar in Las Vegas, probably they have 10 people right now. Rarely will you find a bar that has more than that. And only if they have a special occasion, band or something, would you see more people in there. So you're driving just 50 people to each bar, they're interested to talk to you. We only talk about 500. What if it was 100,000 in Las Vegas or 200,000 in Las Vegas? Would they be talking to you? Heck yeah. Okay. So now, if you signed up this bar, it means in the future, every member that ever purchases from this bar, you get your commission. That is huge. None of you realize that how big that really is. It's huge money, okay? I wanted to just explain that. Is everybody clear on that? Okay, go ahead, Jose.
Internet accounts are reserved for the company to sign up. It would be unfair to have only one member benefit from rewards from a company like eBay. Local accounts are reserved for members to sign up restaurants, bars, shops, boutiques, gyms, beauticians, electricians, plumbers, grocery stores, and so on. How to make money without investing any money using the 4Cs system.
Can you stop there a second?
In every cell phone direct.
Okay. I don't know how many cell phones you have how many phone numbers you have in your cell phone, but I have probably between 500, probably closer to 1,000 than 500 in my cell phone. Some of these go back 10, 15 years, because I haven't changed my number in that long. Do I remember who those people are? No, I don't remember. I don't remember 90% of the people in my phone. All I can tell you is I have two things on my phone. One is I have a name, and secondly I have a phone number. That's all I have. However, if I were to send a message to every one of them and introduce them to this opportunity here, some of them might sign up. We'll discuss in a little bit how many. Okay, so can we carry on?
System. In every cell phone directory, there are several hundred phone numbers. Send them all a message. Hey, check out this 4Cs company. Every time I do my shopping, they pay me. When you become a member, you are allocated a special link with your membership ID embedded in it, recognizing you as a 4Cs promoter. Use it to promote 4Cs. When the recipient of your text message enrolls and becomes a member, The 4C system recognizes you as the introducing member, and your commission is assured. When they enroll, there is no change in goods or services. There is no change in shopping habits, and they get paid for what they do every day. Go shopping. Send your special membership link to all of them, and you automatically get paid your commission for every purchase the new member makes. For every 100 members you sign up, you earn between $1,500 to $2,000 per month or more. Now, this is equivalent to what an average person spends monthly on consumer goods and services expenditure.
Okay, Jose, can we stop there a second? Okay, how did we calculate that? At a meeting a few weeks ago, we asked everybody, there was more people here than tonight, we asked everybody how much they spent every week. Now, I happen to spend around maybe $600 a week. But it transpires that the average person spends around $400 a week, okay, which is $1,600 a month, between $1,600 and $2,000 a month, okay? Now, if you take $1,600 and $2,000 a month, and you've introduced 100 members, that's $160,000 to $200,000 a month that they're spending. Follow me so far? 5% of that would come to you. So if it's $200,000, 5% of $200,000 is how much? $10,000, right? So we cut that down by a quarter and said you will make $1,500 to $2,000, but you could probably be making much, much more than that. Okay, so we've built in dynamics for this to propagate itself and generate profit for every single member by a simple effort of simply sitting down and using their cell phone. Now that system is already in place. We already have developed that. We just haven't applied it yet. Okay, so that's one bit of technology that we already have, and it's already working on the computer, and soon it'll start to work also on the cell phone. It needs a little bit further development and fine-tuning, but we have time for that, so we're not in a hurry to finish that off. So that's already available. Okay, Jose, can we go ahead, please?
Special features include no fees or membership, no fees for account and wallet, no fees for shopping, no fees for currencies exchange, no fees for spending, no fees for cashing out.
Do you know where to stop this second part? Okay, carry on. All right. What you see here is that there's no change in shopping habits. Use your own debit or credit card at the moment, okay? So you don't need to use anything special. Just use your normal debit or credit card, and it works on all of that. 4Cs have no expiration dates, which you already know about, okay? It does not affect any other discounts. Our system does not affect any other discount. It goes directly from the total amount that you pay, all right? This is the first of many possible shopping solutions and applications. Remember we were talking about ecosystems? Well, this is just the beginning of an ecosystem. In fact, we already have many, many more ideas and applications that we can put it into, but let's go one step at a time and do it right, okay? So that's what we're doing at the moment. One step at a time and doing it right. Yes, Tom?
How do you get your credit card changed to 4Cs?
You don't need to. Just use your credit card or debit card. When you go shopping using our directory, the directory recognizes you as the person doing the buying. You follow me? Right.
Are we buying it through the app?
You buy it through the directory, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when you go to the directory, and we'll have huge amounts of companies because we're working on that, signing them up, you know. Here's the interesting thing. Every company on the internet has an affiliate program. I don't know if you know that. Amazon, eBay, Neiman Marcus, Target, Walmart. What that affiliate program says is that if you have an organization that can drive traffic to their website to purchase from them, they'll pay your commission. Now, some companies exist that do that, but they keep the commission. What we've done here is we share that commission. We keep half, and we, meaning us as members, keep half. And we give half to the actual buyer. Okay, that's the only thing different we've done. So the system is already in place. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just putting the new technology in a new application in a different way. Okay? Does that make any sense? Does that answer your question, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Can we go ahead, Jose?
4Cs applies this new internet technology to make token holders into shareholders.
This is what I just explained to you before. As a token holder, you also become a shareholder. Hello? Is this working?
So?
Hello? Hello? It's working now? All right. Yeah. Blockchain technology allows us to do that. Why? Because
I think there's a microphone there.
We can hear you now.
you can hear me?
It's a small room, we can hear you.
Hello?
Hello, hello.
Let me change. I think the battery's out.
What's that? Oh, the battery.
Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear me now? My God, so nice to say hello to you guys. Okay. Traditional companies, essentially, you need to go through a broker in order to buy or sell shares. With blockchain technology, it's now possible to simply trade shares on your own. What blockchain technology has done, or one of the aspects of it, is the fact that you do not need an intermediary. I can pay you without using a bank, okay? I can trade my shares with you without using a stockbroker. I can buy and sell property to you without using a title company. Okay? So many aspects of today's commerce is going to change in the near future. It won't cover everything, but it's going to take a huge segment out of the existing market of the different companies that are relevant to that particular industry. Okay? Does everybody understand that? Okay, thank you. Okay, Jose.
Another first, 4Cs is owned by members who are the coin holders, are also the shareholders. In each 4C coin is embedded a part of a share of the common stock and its fast-growing assets. A new application, 4Cs applies the new technology to reward token holders with interest payments.
Okay.
One 4C's share is equivalent to 1,000 4C's tokens or coins. Traditional corporate structures cannot do this sort of conversion.
Which is what I just explained just now, okay? So, using blockchain technology, and again, you gotta remember that, as was shown earlier, this has already been approved now by the Treasury Department. I think there were 4 types of coins that were approved. Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Litecoin, and Ethereum. And we're using the Ethereum ERC20 ecosystem. So it's already been approved, so we've no problems there. Okay, Jose, can you carry on, please? This way, we can treat shares like it was currency as well, and pay you bonuses, which is another word for interest, essentially. You know. Carry on, please, Jose. Okay, that's the first part. Now, we're going to go to the last part of the presentation. And again, this will change 2 weeks from now, because now with the new structure that they've given us, we're going to reset the whole of the PowerPoint presentation so it flows smoothly. And we don't have to mess around with it as we're doing right now. Remember we talked about phase 1, the telephone is our marketing system. This is phase 2 of the marketing system, okay, which you're going to see right now, okay? This has yet to be developed, by the way. Okay, can we stop here for a moment? Okay. If you've been to China recently, or in the last 2, 3, 4 years, you would have noticed something unusual in China that we don't have in this country. And what is unusual is this. They decided to leapfrog the usage of debit cards and credit cards. So when you go to China today, they're all using shopping apps. Okay? What does that mean? When you arrive at the airport, first thing you do is you go buy yourself a local cell phone. And the next thing you do, you transfer money into that cell phone. You go to the bank and transfer money to the cell phone. Or you can do it digitally as well. Because you can't pay a cab driver, you can't buy a cup of coffee, you can't do nothing without a shopping app in China today. Money's almost stopped to exist. So what they have done, in fact, is following us on our track, going through debit and credit card system and then moving the shopping app, they decided to jump that middle part, the debit cards and credit cards, and go straight to shopping apps. So this is the world of the future that's going to be it's going to come. Actually, you can actually see, you have Google Pay, Apple Pay, you have now shopping, I think you have pay apps with banks as well, am I correct? You know, so it's already starting, here it's already starting, this already happened 2, 3, 4 years ago, okay? That's the only difference. So they're a step ahead of us, we need to catch up, essentially. So this is the future, and what we have done here is that we've developed we're developing, it hasn't been developed yet, by the way, our own shopping app, okay? Can you carry on, please, Jose?
Four Seas is planning to develop a new technology, high-tech shopping pay app, the Forces Pay Shopping Pay app. It will perform the following functions: pay online and local establishments, deduct Four Seas referral fee, credit the Four Seas investment fund, credit the buyer's account, credit member who introduces the buyer, credit member who introduces the seller.
Okay, it'll be able to do all this, okay? So, in answer to your question, Tom, at this point, there'll be no need for you to use your debit card or credit card because you have a system that's even better you can use. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, don't you have to get all your buddies to sign up for this? And
No, as a member, you'll have this available to you. All you need to do is credit money into it. You follow me, to go shopping. Just like right now, your debit card, you put money into your account, right?
yeah.
You do the same thing here.
But how about the people you sign up? Don't they have to give you their phone so you can load all this into it?
No, they'll be linked to the system. And this will be offered to them from the system, so you don't have to introduce that.
They just get the app?
They get the app, yes, automatically, and they can use it the moment they become a member. Okay, so it'll be easy to use and everybody qualifies. All you have to do is just getting a prepaid debit card. It'll be the same thing, essentially. Okay? And the people can link it to their bank accounts or whatever, you know. Okay, Jose, let's go ahead. The next part is very, very
Four Seas
important.
plans to develop the Forces Pay shopping app. Forces Pay will work the same way as Google Pay, Apple Pay, and Samsung Pay. Main difference is they charge a fee to use their apps. Forces Pay pays you to use the app.
Do you see that? That is huge. Okay? All other shopping apps that you have, they charge you a fee. But because the way we are structured, we pay you to use the shopping app. It's as simple as that. And that has universal applications. Okay? In the United States, in France, in Germany, wherever you are in the world, we pay you whenever you go shopping. We pay you buy airline tickets. We pay you when you go to hotels. We pay you every time you spend money. Okay? And that is huge. I don't think most of you realize how big that really is going to become, if everything is successful. Okay? All right, Jose, let's carry on, please. Okay, now here, Jose, I think you've noticed already in the different things that I've told you that everything is interlocked, interconnected in our system. There's profitability in every transaction. There's nothing that you do in this company that doesn't make a profit. Every action that you take, the company makes a profit. Who benefits from the profit? All of us, and the individual member. The individual member and the whole group, okay, makes a profit. And it has membership incentives for growth, inbuilt dynamics for growth, okay, which I think you realize by now, okay? And because of that, we have membership loyalty, okay, ownership loyalty. And we have reserves to call all liabilities because half the money always comes to us, in which case we have always continually developing assets that are getting bigger by every transaction. Okay. Which means the assets of everybody who's involved in it, the coin holders, which means the shareholders. And I think that's very important, it's very powerful, you should understand that, okay? Please go ahead, Hussein. Now, here's another thing that you have to bear in mind. Another powerful concept. In a nutshell, this is what it means, okay? We're in a position to compete with almost everybody on the planet. Will we take all the business from them? The answer is no. But we'll take a significant part of their business from them, okay? Let's take, for example, Amazon or Walmart. Their main business is products. They sell products. We'll be selling products, but when they buy through us, they get paid. We'll be buying from them too, and they will pay us, okay? They don't sell you airline tickets. They don't do hotels for you. They don't pay your grocery bill. Well, Walmart's today probably. They don't pay for your plumber. They don't give you nothing when you use your plumber. They pay you nothing when you use your electrician. Okay. Here we have something that is universally applicable. In other words, unlike them, you can use what system that we have to pay for your airline tickets, pay your hotel bills, pay for your groceries, pay for whatever that you buy or deal with. Not only in the United States, but all over the world. Okay? So will we take some business from Walmart? Yes. Will we take some business from Amazon? Yes. Will we take business? We take business from everybody. How much, we don't know. But we'll be the only company in the world that pays you to go shopping. We're the only company in the world, when you use your shopping app, you get paid. I don't know if you realize how big that is, if everything goes well according to plan. That is huge. Okay, Jose, please go ahead. By the way, that's all that says there. It's the same thing here again. Jose, let's just stop. All vendors in consumer products and services, all the companies that are involved in these industries will affect. That's Walmart, Amazon, etc. All discount coupon companies will affect because we'll put into place things that can compete and outdo people like Groupon. So we'll be in that market too. Not yet. We can only do one thing at a time. It's only a question of time. Okay? We'll get into their market. All providers of shopping rewards, okay, will affect their market. Not immediately again, one thing at a time. It's only a question of time before we take up that market. All providers of service rewards, like air miles, will affect them, okay? Solutions to overcome competition just merely explains further what I just explained for you up here. All right? Sure.
But everything has to be paid through the cell phone, right?
Yes. Your cell phone, as I said before, like in China today, in the future will stop using debit cards and credit cards. Okay? Your cell phone, you'll be able to, when you pay at the bar, you'll take your phone with your app and just bring it to the proximity of their, what do you call that, the terminal?
Scanner.
Yeah, and it pays it.
In Africa, they're already using that also the same.
Well, it's, in China, it's everywhere.
Yeah, and also cell phone.
Yeah.
South Africa, it's all cell phone.
Only cell phones, yes. China is like that. You don't use any debit cards or credit cards anymore. That's gone. Which is safer because it's in your phone and, you know, you can use your debit card and your credit cards, but you know, as long as you, and until somebody can have access even your codes, which most of us today use our thumbprint, so they can't access that unless they have your thumbprint, you know what I mean? It's a much more secured system digitally, okay? And that's the reason why the world is going in that direction. It's a much more advanced system than your chip in your credit card and your debit card. It's the next generation. We're looking at the world 5 to 10 years from now, okay? It's already happened in some countries in the world. It's coming here too. It's already started, in fact. Okay?
I just got a sign up from American Express. They want to do it on.
See what I mean?
I
Yeah.
got an app on my phone already.
Right. Yes, exactly. So that's the next generation. You know, there was a time when remember we had to swipe your card, debit card, then came the chip. Well, this is the next generation, essentially, you know? Okay, so let's go ahead.
If you want to make real money in today's market, you only need to know one thing. The biggest fortunes in the world right now are being made in technology. Amazon is now the world's third largest retailer, just behind Walmart and CVS. Airbnb now offers more rooms than Hilton, Intercontinental, and Marriott. And according to investors, it's now the most valuable hotel service in the world.
We'll compete with all
And
of
this
these.
past year, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and Amazon leapfrogged Berkshire Hathaway, Johnson & Johnson, ExxonMobil, and JP Morgan to become the 5 largest companies by market cap in the US. If you had invested just $10 in these companies on the first day they traded on the stock market, you'd have invested $50 total, and you'd be sitting on more than $1.7 million today. But here's the thing, most people never get in on these opportunities. That's because 99% of analysts and average investors don't have a clue what it takes to make the really big money in new technology. And by the time you hear about these companies in Forbes or the Wall Street Journal, the biggest gains are gone. Now here's the thing, people aren't missing out because they're lazy or slow, but because they're not tapped into the world of high tech like I am. Silicon Valley's inner circle. Right now, the inner circle has all its attention on one technology, Bitcoin. But it's not for the reasons you might think. You see, any man on the street can tell you Bitcoin prices are going berserk. But practically no one knows how the Silicon Valley inner circle are positioning themselves to make a killing from it. While most Wall Street analysts are wasting time trying to predict which cryptocurrencies could skyrocket next, if Bitcoins have real value, and whether cryptocurrencies are truly the next big thing or just another tulip bubble about to burst, we inside the Silicon Valley inner circle don't care. That's because we're paying attention to more exciting news unfolding right under most other people's noses. You see, while the talking heads on TV are distracted by the incredible gains people are seeing in cryptocurrencies, like the 667% you could have made in Bitcoin since the start of 2017, or the 3,684% you could have made from Ethereum. Insiders like me believe Bitcoin and other currencies like it are merely the first sign of a much bigger investment opportunity unfolding right now. A technological shift that could ignite the biggest financial windfall you've had the chance to take part in since the birth of the internet. One that could make you a small fortune. You see, Bitcoin is a great asset. It's currently accepted as payment at Expedia, Tesla, PayPal, and Microsoft. You can use it to buy a ticket to outer space on Virgin Galactic. You can even use it to buy gift cards that you can use at places like Amazon, Target, and CVS Pharmacy. Its investors include people like PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, and billionaire Richard Branson, who said, "I've invested in Bitcoin because I believe in its potential." But while most investors are focused on Bitcoin, arguing about whether it's going to crash or rocket to the moon, they're missing the bigger story playing out behind the scenes. Today, the big money is hiding in the companies applying Bitcoin technology in new ways. A Harvard academic estimates this new technology is about to surge 1,500%. That means it would create over $1.6 trillion in new wealth for investors. The CEO of NASDAQ calls it the biggest opportunity we can think of over the next decade or so. A report published on a Berkshire Hathaway company's website estimates this market will double every 2 years and grow 25-fold to over 5.4 billion by 2023. The general public has no idea this is happening, but insiders are already calling it the greatest profit opportunity of the century. And you should take that prediction very seriously. And there's nothing I'm more excited about than the technology behind Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology. That's because we're just at the beginning of what I believe will be a major tipping point for the blockchain. And unless you want to look back in 5 years wishing that you'd gotten in while the elevator was on the ground floor, then I recommend you get in now. Over the next few years, you could be looking at gains of 1,140%, 1,790%, 2,148%, maybe even an incredible 9,800% or more over time. Enough to turn a modest $1,000 stake into $148,780. Now, of course, nothing is guaranteed, but my research has painted a pretty clear picture. But there's one big problem. Most ordinary folks won't hear about it until it's too late. And if you want to claim your share of the profits, you need to make your move before the really big money starts flowing in. Impossible? Not at all. Because I've done it.
Okay, can you stop there, Jose? All right, essentially that's it. Now, I want to make a few points clear. What's the difference between gambling and investing? Okay, when you gamble your money and you play in the slot machine, every hand is either a winner or a loser. Okay, it's purely by chance. In business, we want to make sure that we're 90% correct before we invest our money or put substantial money into it. So investing is a little bit different than gambling. Now, Jose and I have believed enough in this project to invest substantial sums of money. Okay? But if this should fail for any reason, and every indication is that it won't, but should it fail for any reason, it won't change my lifestyle, it won't affect the way I live, it won't affect my mortgages, it won't affect my payments, it will affect nothing. And the same is true for Jose. So what does that mean? Do not invest money you cannot afford to lose. That's the first thing. But if you can afford to lose that money, you're onto a good bet here, okay? I don't want to tell you what I really think, because then I'll be painting for you a very rosy picture. What I can tell you is this. I have enough faith in what we've created to invest a lot of money into it. And now, having said that, I leave it entirely up to you. I want to thank you all for coming this evening, and we'll have this meeting again in another 2 weeks. We need 2 weeks' time to change the PowerPoint presentation. And also by then we'll have more news and more information to give to you from our brokers in Washington, D.C. We hope by then we'll have all our approvals, in which case we can advertise this and we'll fill this room up, in no time. So that opportunity is there, but again, think before you do anything. Do not invest money you cannot afford to lose, and I mean that sincerely. We don't need your money. They're raising $50 million for us. But however, we're creating this opportunity so at least we can bring some of our friends with us, as simple as that. Okay? Having said that, I want to thank you very much for coming this evening, and I hope to see you again in about 2 weeks and bring some of your friends. Okay? Thank you. Have a good evening.